Hey everyone, here we are for our healthy morning mukbang. I have my standard fruit salad in my attractive reindeer bowl with a jaunty scarf from Target. There's banana in here, cut up mango and apple, topped with a coconut flavored Greek yogurt that I got free with a coupon. We have the Aldi brand granola bars crushed up on top and some walnut bits. Yum, you know, my favorite meal. So, what shall we talk about today? Is that light a little bright? Let's try it without that light. It's like, Alright, that's better. We did not need that extra light. I definitely need to buy more of these granola bars today. I used to make my granola from scratch, and I love doing it, but I also love eating it so much that I just can't be trusted around it. I can't control myself. Portion size is a challenge for me. Wait a minute, where can you see? There you go. So when I do the granola bars that come, two in a little pack, the portion size is kind of pre-controlled for me. God forbid I only eat one of them and save the other for the next day, because that's clearly not going to happen. Yum for mango! Love me some mango! There's no musical talent. Could you tell? Did I need to tell you that? There's no musical talent here. We stir it all around and we mix it and we mix it. So, let's talk about things that make you cry. Another fun topic. As if our chit-chat about menopause wasn't fun enough. Well, the reason I think about it... Okay, wait, here we have mango, apple, yogurt, granola, all in one bite. Oh, yes! Oh, yes! Love it. Okay, so... I was watching this video the other night. And... I was looking for funny videos. So, there was this group of videos about people being rejected by their secret crushes, which isn't really funny, that's kind of sad. But whatever, I clicked on it. But one of the clips in this whole string of videos was not about a rejection. It was this really nice video. And this, I believe, was a viral video, so maybe you've all seen it already, but I'm always the last to know. I'm the last to hear the gossip. I'm the last one to know what's going on in the news. I'm the last one to know about some viral video, because I'm a hermit, and I'm out of touch, and basically I just don't care that much. Whenever I tell my grown daughter about some thing I saw on the internet, she's like, yeah, Mom, we all saw that 4 years ago. Well, why didn't you tell me? Anyway. So maybe you've all seen this already, but what we have is high schoolers. And we have this boy who, according to the video, is autistic. But in the video, he seems awfully high functioning, right? I mean, he's not like Rain Man autistic. And he's a big boy. I'm not saying he's like obese or anything, but he's a big boy. He's like tall and he's a big boy. And he's in the classroom, and this really cute little cheerleader girl comes in. Like, thin and pretty and blonde hair. And so, of course, you immediately, like, what I think is like, bitch. Like one of the popular girls, which was not ever me. So she comes in, and she's holding this, what looks like a pizza box, right? And she calls him over, and he's like, what's this about? And there are other kids in the classroom. I don't know if it's a regular classroom or a special ed classroom, but it looks fairly casual. She's holding the box, and he comes over, and she lifts up the lid, and there's one of those giant chocolate chip cookies in it, right? Now, first off, I'm thinking, awesome, like, what a nice girl to give him this giant chocolate chip cookie. It Nobody ever gave me a giant chocolate chip cookie. Well, I think my mother did once, but you know. So he comes over, and there's writing on the cookie in frosting. And it says, will you be my prom date? Or will you go to the prom with me? Or something like that. Cute, popular cheerleader girl is inviting really big, high-functioning autistic boy to go to the prom with her. He gets so excited. He's jumping around the classroom. It's like, yeah, like he's all excited, which is beautiful to watch. Then you hear her say, well, is that a yes? And he comes running over and says, oh yes, I'm going to the prom. And they hug. Oh my God. And I just cried and cried and cried and cried because I thought, that is the sweetest, kindest gesture. I just don't expect that from teenagers, especially like cute cheerleaders. Like, I just don't. I told my grown daughter about it, and she's like, oh yeah, with my generation, yeah, we're much nicer than your generation was. And I was like, maybe so. I don't know. I went to an all-girls high school. We didn't have cheerleaders, so I don't know. High school's a rough time, but this girl was adorable. So kind. His joy and elation was so moving to me. And as a mother, I look at it and think, wow, if that was my son, I would be so happy for him. And if that was my daughter, I would be so proud of her for doing that. And I feel like this could be like a life-altering moment for him. Like, you know when something really crappy happens when you're in high school or junior high? It sticks with you forever. Like, you need therapy for it forever. But instead, this was something beautiful that happened to him. This could stick with him forever. This could, like, just boost his self-confidence. This could be such a defining moment for him just because of the kindness of this beautiful girl. Like, I just warmed my heart. So I was crying. I cry at stuff like that. There are commercials I cry at. I think it was a Folgers coffee commercial, or maybe Maxwell House, where it's like early in the morning in the household, and the coffee's brewing, as it should be. The little girl comes down to the kitchen, and who's there brewing the coffee? But I think like her older brother who's home from the military. I know, I'm tearing up right now. Military things always get to me. I'm not a big supporter of war, but I always support our military. And those General Electric commercials, like we bring good things to life, or we bring good things to light, or something like that, those made me cry too. Years and years and years ago, there was a Pepsi commercial where you have these kind of country folk, right? And they're like outside, and there's a barn. I don't know if they're like getting ready for a barn dance or a harvest fest, or I don't know what they're doing. But the country people, like cowboy hat kind of people with a barn, right? And they're standing around, and this plane goes, little plane goes overhead with like the skywriting behind it, spells out, "Marry me, Sue." So that's the guy's way of proposing to the girl, and they're all watching. That one was on TV when I was a teenager. See, I really am tearing up. I'm a very sensitive person. I thought that was beautiful. One time when I was in my early 20s, I was home at my parents', and it was Halloween, and my mother was kind of like not all that into giving out candy, and she was like, let's just turn the lights out and hide. And I was like, bitch, we're handing out candy. So I was the one answering the door and handing out the candy, and this little kid came to the door. Maybe this was like my pre-maternal instincts kicking in or something. I don't know. This little kid came, like 2 or 3 years old, dressed as a lion. So like, man, a lion. And I just burst out crying because it was like the cutest thing I'd ever seen. I know, maybe I do need some therapy. I don't know. Is that really weird? I don't know if you heard that. Like, I just made this really weird, like slurping, like inhaling of food noise. That's probably very appetizing for y'all. Alright, so let me tell you this other story. Makes me cry. Makes my grown daughter cry too. She's like a heart of ice. So, alright, you all know who Albrecht Dürer is, right? Dürer. Albrecht. Like Albrecht. Dürer. German artist who lived I don't know when he lived, like in the 1600s, I want to say. And you've all seen his work, whether you know it or not, but he did the praying hands. He was like did wood carvings, I think, right? Praying hands. You've seen it. I know you've seen it. That's Albrecht Dürer. So, the story goes, he and his brother both wanted to be artists. They wanted to go to art school, but their family didn't have money to send them both. So, the older brother says to Albrecht, you go first. I'll go work to make the money to send you to art school, and then I'll go after. Cool. So what does older brother do? Goes down in coal mines. Did they have coal mines in the 1600s? Maybe this is 17 or 1800s. I don't know. I should have Googled it before I opened my big mouth. Anyway, older brother goes down to work in the mines, doing all this hard labor, and he destroys his hands. And he can't draw anymore. He can't be an artist. In earning the money for Albrecht to be an artist, he destroys his own chances of being an artist. That's beautiful in and of itself. Like, that is the self-sacrificial love of Jesus Christ, if you believe in that kind of thing. I mean, that is Jesus' love. Self-sacrifice. The praying hands. Making myself cry! Oh my God. The praying hands are his brother's hands. That's what he drew. I mean, that's what he carved. That's what the art is. It's his brother's hands. The hands that put him through art school and were destroyed, so that he could become a world famous artist. Well, he probably wasn't famous at the time, but like he is now. Oh my God! Bertie! My cat just tried to jump on the table. His claws grab under the tablecloth. He pulls it off and he slops my coffee all over. Bertie! Hold on, I gotta get something to wipe that up. I didn't expect to be so moved by my own stories. I mean, I know how these end, right? Like, I already know where it's going. There's no surprise ending for me, and it's still making me cry. And the Albrecht Dürer one, I told you, that makes my big girl cry too. All I have to say to her, his brother's hands. And she starts to tear up. But on another topic, this fruit and yogurt, it is delicious. Delicious and healthy. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I saw some mukbang videos online yesterday. Jimmy John's. People are eating at Jimmy John's. I've never even heard of that. What is that? I didn't watch them, because having never heard of Jimmy John's, I didn't really care to watch somebody eating Jimmy John's food, but I'm assuming it's like a fast food burger place or something. But we don't have that in the Northeast. No, we do not. You know what I did once? Eating-wise? Okay, I'll admit it. I'll tell you what I did. So for my job, there's some driving involved. We have to do field work, right? So one time I was out in the field on a Friday evening. This is when my big girl daughter was younger, and she had her weekend visitation with her dad. So I didn't have to get home at any particularly early time to get her from school or daycare or whatever it was. I don't remember how old she was. So I had this kind of late appointment. It was about an hour away from my job on a Friday night. And it was down at the shore, the Jersey Shore, down the shore. So, of course, on a Friday evening, there was a ton of traffic. Friday summer shore traffic, which I hadn't really counted on when I made the appointment for, 6 p.m. on a Friday evening, because I don't really go to the shore, so I kind of was forgetting about all that traffic. So there's a ton of traffic. So I have my appointment, and I'm heading home, and now it's like 8 o'clock, and I'm stuck in traffic, and of course, I'm hungry, because I'm always hungry. So I stopped at Dunkin' Donuts. And what seemed the most economical option was to buy a dozen donuts, right? Because you get the lowest price per donut, and one wants to be a saver, right? So I got a dozen Bavarian cream. That was my favorite donut at the time. I haven't had a donut in years. Maybe this experience taught me something. And if you don't know, Bavarian cream, it's like your Boston cream, but it doesn't have the chocolate frosting on top. So it's just like the round donut, no hole in the middle, and it's got the vanilla Bavarian cream shoved in the middle. So it's like sugar and fat and sugar and fatty sugar cream in the middle. And they're yummy, and I bought a dozen of them. So I'm driving home with my box of donuts next to me, and I eat a couple. I'm like, ooh, these are so good. So then before I know it, I've eaten 6 of them, which, I don't know, for those of you who don't eat like that, that might seem kind of extreme, but it was very easy to do. I mean, donuts, those kind of donuts have a lot of air in them. You know, you could smush that pretty flat. Once it's in there, it's not that much food. It's a lot of calories. So then I was like, oh God, I just ate 6 donuts. I better eat all the rest so I can get rid of the box and destroy the evidence. That's my thinking there. So I ate all 12. I ate all 12 Bavarian cream donuts in the car on my way home in well less than an hour. Well less than an hour. And then I was living in a condo development at the time, so instead of pulling up at home and putting the box like in my own trash, I drove to a different area of the condo development where there was a dumpster. I threw the box in the dumpster so this evidence could never be tied back to me. And then I drove back to my place where my own garbage cans remained unsullied by this deed. I know. True confessions, I tell you. Yeah. That was an impressive moment for me. I don't eat donuts anymore. I eat fruit and yogurt now. But see, that proves a point. Right there. That proves a point. Don't go out into the world without food with you. Don't go off for your evening appointment at like dinner time on a Friday night without planning to be hungry. Stupid. I did a tip of the day video on this. Plan to be hungry. I did not plan ahead. So I was overly hungry. I bought too much. I spent money. I bought food that's in no manner in any way nutritious, and I ate it all. I don't even want to think about how many calories are in a dozen Bavarian cream donuts in addition to whatever that cost me. Plan ahead. Do as I say. Don't do as I did. I plan ahead now. I always have food in the car now. Always have food in the car now. Even my mother, who will spend money for absolutely no reason whatsoever, she even has food in the car. She brings Oreos with her. She's one of those little ladies who's gotten really thin. Like, she wasn't thin when I was growing up, but they just eat less as they get older and whatever. I don't know. But like in the last year or two, she's lost like 30 pounds. Like, she's shorter than I am. Like, she weighs less than I do, like, for the first time ever. But she'll eat her Oreos driving around in the car. Be prepared. This fruit is so amazing. I got all these mangoes at Aldi when they were on sale for 59 cents each. And I'm going to be sad after I've eaten them all up because now I'm getting used to having like a whole mango every morning. It's just my favorite food. My house is a mess. I admit to you. For a while there, I was just cleaning like obsessively, and my house was really, really clean. And then I realized, this is boring. And I kind of stopped, but I really need to get back on the wagon. It's such a pain in the neck though. It's like fighting like a giant wave crashing down on me all the time. This morning, I made one of my girls, the other one was still asleep, but I made the one who was awake clean up her toys that she'd left all over the living room floor last night. She had such a freaking tantrum about it. I don't play that. I don't put up with that. And I keep telling her, fix your hair. I keep telling her, you know, when you cry and scream, you're not going to get your way. That's just not the way to get your way. I'm not going to respond and say, oh, it's okay, don't clean up, I'll do it for you. I just get pissed off. And I'm like, you got nothing to cry about. Pick up your toys. I don't want to, I'm too tired. And I said, okay, fine. Which ones are too hard to pick up? What is too difficult for you to clean up? Because you certainly have the energy to make the mess. But now, next morning after a good night's sleep, you don't have the energy to pick them up. So which ones can't you pick up? Because if I have to bend over to pick them up, I'm putting them in the trash. Which this is my standard threat. Which I'm happy to do, especially with Play-Doh. Like, I'll throw that crap out. I hate Play-Doh. I'll throw it right away. Then she has a fit, but she still doesn't want to pick up. And I'm like, the colored pencils? You don't want colored pencils anymore? Fine, I'll pick them up and throw them away. Now, the Play-Doh I will throw away. The colored pencils I wouldn't throw away. I would just, like, hide them away for a while, and I'll bring them out again in a few months. I'm not going to throw away colored pencils, because you know we're going to need them. But that's my standard threat. And I have thrown enough stuff away over the years that, you know, they believe me. It's a good way to get rid of the toys you really don't like. Alright, enough chit-chat. I'm going to slurp this down really, really fast now. I'm moving on to making a video on meal planning, so watch that. And find your humanity and cry at the things that are worth crying at.